G'day fellow skiers, this video is for you who've never been skiing powder and a couple of thoughts on how you can do it safely with little knowledge and how to improve your ability to steer the skis and adapt to the terrain. Let's get started. Skiing powder is one of the most amazing things you can do on skis, but it's kind of unique in a way that it looks so peaceful with the snow just laying there. It's hard to imagine how it could start sliding, create an avalanche and possibly kill you. Avalanches can occur on slopes that are steeper than 30 degrees typically, which isn't that steep. In special situations it can happen at less than that. So to be on flat slopes is good. You can use your phone's angle meter to learn how steep that is. Number one, and the best place for you to start practicing is on a ski slope where we've received some powder. That is a great, even the perfect practicing scenario because you know it's going to be perfectly smooth underneath that powder. So you can just practice steering the skis through powder, which is tricky. Second place where you can try to ride some powder by yourself is on an avalanche controlled marked run. Here in Switzerland they're usually marked as a yellow run, and then you can ski safely a couple of meters on the right and the left side of these yellow markers. The number one skill you have to learn in order to ski the powder is to rotate or steer the feet where you want your skis to take you. You can lift your foot and try twisting it left and right, and it's gonna feel like that force is coming from like the ankle, but it really isn't. It comes from the hip socket. And with a strong hip socket, you can really steer the skis where you wanna go. An excellent way of practice this is with a classic drill, braquage or pivot slips. They work like this: you slide straight down the mountain, try to keep the upper body down the hill as you're turning the skis 180 degrees from one side to the next. In order to do this pivot slip, arms far forward so you feel nice and balanced, and see how my feet are now turn all the way that way. The hip is maybe that way, and then the chest is more or less straight down the hill. So if I now release the edges and twist them the other way, you'll see what's going to happen. It's a little off camber here. Try again. Really feel also how the pressure shifts from one foot to the other to help aid this little drill. If you're not comfortable learning all this by yourself, or you just want to have an amazing trip to the Alps, join one of our ski technique camps, free ride camps or freestyle camps for adults, where grown-ups get to in a nice team environment improve their skills. Anyway, back to the tutorial. So the first important skill was to rotate the feet. Now we want to combine that with skiing in 3D, meaning that the skis need to learn to go up and down the snowpack. A great place to practice this is on a ridge on the side of the slope. You need no powder at all to do this, just like this. So this one is a little bumpy, but as you do the transition, you bend the knee. Let the legs come up out of the snowpack. This is kind of simulating that feeling. In those two areas you can enjoy powder skiing safely, even without so much knowledge. But in order to explore the whole mountain and the whole beauty of freeride skiing, I strongly urge you to check out any of the avalanche courses in the description. I have no affiliation with it, I just want to share their knowledge to you. There's also an online course down there that I suggest you do. While you can learn a lot at home over an online course, please join a course in reality and learn more so that you can have more fun while staying safe. Now I ask you to have some imagination here, because I couldn't find these conditions today. But the perfect place to start practicing is a groom slope with some powder on it, because that is the ideal practice situation. So let's imagine we got that here. This is what I want you to think about. Have a nice little pole plant, and really remember to steer those feet just like in the pivot slip before. You're gonna feel that the skis are harder to turn when they ski through powder, which I sadly don't have here right now. Once you felt the rotation of the feet, I want you to start feeling a little bit of a float. If you can feel the skis floating up the snow in between the turns, that's a giant step forward to your first proper powder turns. Always check the avalanche bulletin. In the beginning, you're not really going to know what it all means, but here's a rough understanding. It's a scale from 1 to 5, and it's not like any other scale where it's like gradually gets more dangerous. It gets exponentially more dangerous. From a 1, a small avalanche, to 5, massive. We talk about destroying a village. And actually, on the avalanche level 2 and 3, 80% of all deaths in the backcountry happen. So a 2 and a 3 are already serious, especially the 3. Like, you gotta be very careful then. Back to it again, do an avalanche course. All right, let's start skiing now. As I mentioned in ridge riding, when you ski powder, you gotta learn to ski in 3D, that you move up and down the snowpack. So let's isolate that right now and try to straight line the sweet powder field below me and do some pumping. When you pump in powder, I want it to be smooth, no jerky, weird kind of bounces, but like smoothly feel that when you pressure the snow and you compress the snow underneath your ski, it's gonna make you pop up. Part of that popping out of the snow is the whole body or the whole mass of you coming up, and some of it is just the legs coming up. So let's give that a try. Let's try pumping in this powder here. You just straight line in some powder, find a nice rhythm. Just pump up and down. You can look down on the skis, see them emerge from the snowpack. Oh no, I got stuck. I should have planned ahead. So under my jacket here, every responsible freeride skier has one of these. It's a transceiver. It transmits a signal and it can receive a signal. So if I would get buried below 2 meters of snow here, my friends could find me while using this device. So it's extremely important to know how to use this one, the probe and the shovel, in order to save someone. Next drill you can try is pump and steer. So I'm going to do the same thing, have smooth pumps, and I'm going to steer the skis a little bit to the right. Oop, it's a little bit sketchy here. A little bit to the left. When you pump and steer, it's important that in the beginning you just steer like gently, that you don't close the turn, that you make it like a half circle. If you just have a pretty short arc length like such, then do the next one. It's easier to do the turns because you need to steer less. It's easy to have a controlled upper body that is pointing down the hill. And as you get better, you can close the turns more in order to reduce the speed you're traveling at. Speaking of speed, you gotta keep some while you're riding the powder. Speed really is your friend in the beginning. Well, kind of always. You can start learning to ski powder on virtually any ski, but the perfect ski has a bit of a rocker. That means that it has a long nose, helps the ski float, and it's a little bit wider than a normal ski. They're usually mounted a bit backwards, or always to be honest, helping the ski float up on the snowpack easier. Next thing in the equipment is the pole. On my freeride poles have a rather large basket, helping me to push myself forward even when the snow is deep and soft. Alright, so that's the ski and the pole. Maybe you notice I'm wearing a backpack here. Now, I always wear a backpack when I ski powder. It's because I keep some of the important safety equipment there. Let's have a look at that now. Got a dedicated pocket, nice shovel, and you can also make it a bit longer so you can shovel faster. Next part we got here is the probe. Now this one you stick into the snow to find where your friend is buried, together with a transceiver. Every free rider should have this every time they go riding powder. So another part of the safety equipment, I have a little first aid kit. When you're deep in the backcountry, you might need something bigger and more useful than this one. Spare mid layer in case it gets a little cold. Puffer jacket. I usually like to have a ski strap. Spare gloves. I usually put my helmet in this bag. I got a spare lens for the goggles in case they fog up if I have lots of crashes. And a spare buff, similar to this one. So when this one gets wet, it is wonderful to put a fresh one on. This one has gotten really wet. Half a liter of water, yeah, glove liners. And I like to have some sort of snacks in case I get like super hungry, like a bar or some nuts. The mono ski. Once you feel comfortable, you feel the rhythm when you're pumping and turning, you're starting to get some flow in. You can imagine that your skis are a mono ski. They are these weird creations from the 80s. They're like a snowboard, but you stand forwards on them. So it's kind of like a ski where they're attached together. So you can just ski with the feet close together so they sometimes touch each other and then relax. And it's going to make it easier to make the skis turn together. You'll have more even pressure on both feet so that you don't over pressure the outside foot so it sinks down too much. Drop it. Okay, let's see what the car data says. Oh, nice! To highlight the difference between doing short turns on the slope versus on the powder, let's look at the data on what's going on inside of my ski boots. As you can see here, I got some more pressure on the outside ski in the powder as well, but less so than on the slope. I have enough so that if I hit an ice patch, it's unlikely here, that I wouldn't fall into the turn.
Here I'm skiing on the slope and doing some short turns. The line in blue here is the outside ski pressure. See how it smoothly goes up as I ski through the turn and then quickly drops off. And then the line in green is the inside ski pressure with a similar pattern. But I have 66% pressure on this run. It's a little bit too little to be a good short turn. It wasn't my best day. If we look at the graph for the powder turn here, you can see that the shape of the blue line is more or less the same as on the slope. But the inside skis graph in green goes up much higher, so the pressure difference is much smaller. Here it's actually 52% outside ski pressure. That's to illustrate the point of the mono ski. To be honest, I should have had a bit more angulation, and you can afford to have a bit more outside ski pressure than that without the ski sinking in.
Now as you get a bit more comfortable sliding through powder, I suggest you play around with speed, or actually increase the speed. As you have more speed, the snow is going to feel firmer, that you can more easily float up on the snow, so it's going to be easier for you to turn. There's a little tactical change you can do to your turns to increase the speed and make it easier to turn. It's that you have banana-shaped turns rather than C-shaped. Because when they're more like that, you're going to increase the speed or like maintain the speed easier. The more you close it, the more you're going to lose the speed. So play around with that and your turns will be sick. Alright, this is often an overlooked but super important skill when it comes to skiing the powder. It's the pole plant. Because it's going to help with so much. It's going to help you get rhythm in your turns, so it's easier to get that pumping motion right. And it's also going to help point the upper body down the hill a little bit if you do that pole plant. Down and a little bit forwards. Then you turn around the pole. It is just great. Thank you guys for watching. Maybe you want to join one of our ski technique camps and you'll get an easy way into being able to ski the entire mountain. Then once you got that down, we also started doing freeride camps for adults. But that's more for you who can already ski the powder but want to get better at it and maybe more playful. Have a nice day and see you in the next video. Ciao.